Lads, I think it's over a year since we first drove the Nissan ARIYA here in Ireland. We've got our allotment of it now, so they're starting to trickle out. And I can tell you, I'm going to give it a game away. It's the best Nissan has ever made. There are some software issues that I think will be solved with a software update. But for the most part, this is the best Nissan they've ever made. And that's saying a lot because there have been some good Nissans over the years, but this one is phenomenal. So hit the subscribe button. I'm going to go through the good, the bad and the ugly of the new Nissan ARIYA. I know it's a fairly bold statement to say this is the best car they've ever made, but it pretty much is. It's as good as they've ever made in the last 2 decades anyway. Apart from the sports cars, obviously, you know, but it's a nice, airy, bright cabin, and this blue leather that they got in here as well is very nice. This is a soft sort of suede Alcantara type material, and it's all around, wrapped all around. Obviously, if you've got kids, they're going to mush the biscuits into the surface, but it should be okay. It's white cleanable, it's fine. This center console I thought was kind of useless at first because this whole area here is a wireless charger. So there's no space. So what they've done is they created a whole other box. So you press the button here and you open up a whole other bin here from the dashboard. Standard feature, by the way, which is good for your sunglasses, your keys or whatever. Close the button and it's carpet in there as well, so things don't really bang around too much, is good. That's on all it moves. This moves. You can push that forward to make more room in the back, or you can push it backwards, which gives more space up front here, because the wired charger, the USB port charger, is down here at the front, along with the 12 volt down the front, and a wireless up here, and wired chargers in the back along with heaters. There's a lot going on. You can move that back and forward as you please. It's infinitely adjustable, as you can see, little small movements. And the same with this as well. If you press this and it stops at any point. You know what I mean? You can open and close it all you like. The glove box next to it is only a glove box. It's tiny, you're not going to fit much in it. Seating position, perfect. Okay, I'm going to get on to the little thorny subject of Nissan's own proprietary software that's in it that I think will get updated. There's really not much information about charge status when you're charging, when you plug in. It doesn't tell you a whole lot on the screen of how fast you're charging, you know, how long it's going to be. You're not quite sure what's going on. You've got to check on the charger out there as well. So there's not much information. It shuts down. There's a light that flashes at the front, just flashes blue when it's charging, green when it's not, and that's the only thing you actually get to see when you're charging the car. Other than that, there's nothing else to be noticed. But as cabins go, it's as good as it gets. Let's have a look though at the back seat. And then people are in the shot back there, not sure. No matter, background actors. Back seat for the kids, the door opens really wide and you get into this really, look at the legroom, look at the distance. That's my seat set for me, for driving. Tons of space, heated seats in the back, 2 USB ports, 1C, 1A, and 3 seat belts. You will fit a third person in here on a short run. There's also a nice armrest and a glass roof. Now, it's going to be dark back here without that glass roof, I'll warn you that much. I think it will be. But the rest of the car back here, second to none. I think it's a really, really smart, nice rear on this as well. They're plastic-ish, not hard plastic, but they're foot resistant, put it that way. And the door has a good old thud from it as well. Dark windows, I know people walking dogs and everything there, but dark windows. It's all tinted back here. It's very nice. Electric windows and all in the back. It's one of the nicer back seats I've sat in a long time. Super comfortable, super nice to sit in. Now, let's have a look at the boot and then we'll go for a little spin. So the car is beeping because it started, but this is the boot. It makes those 3 little pip sounds and then it lifts up. Very big boot. I would say you're going to get anything you want in here, but it's not very tall when it's closed. It's got a bit of a slopey back on it. And this comes down quite a bit as well. So maybe, I test my double pram on this if I had one anymore. A bit of storage though underneath. You can drop the floor so you can take these out. Both of them out and make it a deeper boot, so you're going to be sorted with your double pram. You also have a little space in here for cables, for charging, and everything else. You need got shopping bag hooks. I can't complain. There is no complaints so far, apart from the software. We'll get that on the drive though. Speaking of which, it's time to go for a spin. Come along. As a driver, there's things I want from a battery-powered vehicle. One is the reassurance that it'll actually get me home without having to stop for a charge everywhere. That's important. That only becomes important when you're zooming about the countryside with your family in the car particularly, but even when you're on your own, that thought will trickle through the mind every once in a while, and that's not good. This, fortunately, has a good battery and really good software running it, because they claim about 400 kilometers. I think you'd actually go further than 400 kilometers. I think you'd do 450 or even 500 out of this, because, and I think you'll actually genuinely get that range as well, because this battery seems to be really efficient. My daughter, who is getting treatment in Blackrock Clinic, she's up and down from there for the next while. We drove up there the other night in the car, started with, I think, 80% charge. Drove up, drove back, didn't put any electricity in it the next day, and still had to go down to Galway for work, and then charged up in Portlaoise Plaza for a little, or no, sorry, not Portlaoise Plaza, Galway Plaza for a little bit, and then zoomed back up the road home again, no problem. It just seems really, really efficient. I don't have any complaint with the battery power. Where I do have some complaints is the software end of the car. It's a bit old-fashioned. The actual Nissan software, this software, it feels kind of old in comparison to some of the stuff that's out there. It works well enough, it's okay. The sat-nav doesn't really, just shows you a list of charge points. There's no filters on it. I like to be able to filter down by how fast the charger is promised to be when you get there, not how fast it actually goes, because that'd be insane, because none of them work properly. Hardly any charger actually charges at the rate it's supposed to be charging at. Just so you all know, when you get there, it's an awful pain in the hole. Now, aside from the one at home, you can charge the 7.5 kilowatts 24 hours a day if you like. It's entirely up to you. You can fill it up to the max and away you go. Started this morning with 72% power. I have 67% power, and I've been driving around out to my location for filming and then back in again. It's a nice day. It's a cold day here. We had some very heavy frost the other night, and I had still no problem. No vampire drain, no nothing from this car. Worth to mention here, Nissan have their Nissan active cruise control system. I don't know what they actually call it, but I call it active cruise control. So essentially the car is now driving itself. I have to keep my hands on the wheel. It is actually one of the best ones on the market. I've been playing with it all week. I've been trying to catch it out, and you can't. The car is rock solid in the middle of the lane. It does a very, very good job of detecting traffic around us. It actually recharges the car as you go along as well, so it does take its foot off the pedal and on the pedal to allow you to charge the car. It does that very, very well. It doesn't seem to be upset by the weird lines on the road here which disappear. It just traces the route along perfectly well. I think it's one of the better ones, and if it's an option in your country to put it on, put it on. It works very well. Another thing I want to show you as well is this electronic mirror. There is actually a camera on the back of the car that runs the mirror here. I'm not keen on those mirrors. I don't really like them. I'll tell you why. I can't see how far away a car is behind me as I'm going along, because when you look through an ordinary mirror, you can see the back of the car. You can see where the window is. I can see where the back seats are. I can see stuff in the back of the car. When I do this, it's a camera and it's outside the car, so I don't know how far away things are. Kind of difficult to use. I wouldn't bother specking if I was you, but it is kind of novel to have a menu on your mirror that you can change things on and off the car. There's the active lane assist. Actually misdetected a line on the road. That's not straight out of the lines there. So the biggest problem I have is the software. I'd like to see Nissan more information about the speed of charge, information about my battery usage, that sort of breakdown stuff. I think it's important to reassure the driver and the passengers that you're not going to run out of electricity. That's very important, because a lot of these cars, you run in the sort of jeopardy zone a hell of a lot. You know, you're always thinking, how much further will I get out of this battery? And you're also thinking, how fast will this charger charge me? You know, some of the chargers don't tell you their speed when they're charging. More modern ones do, because up on the screen a lot. but older ones don't, and they'll have to be updated at some point in the future. I'd like to see an update done to the software on the Nissan, but I think that's what's going to come as well. Again, that's lane tracing doing its thing here. Seating position, excellent. Visibility, excellent. The seat doesn't get any lower than this, so if you're taller than me, 6'1" and above is what I am, you are going to have a little bit of headroom issue. With God, the sun! I haven't seen the sun in months. There it is. Even when I travel anywhere around Europe at the moment, I never get to see any bit of sun, and that is beautiful. Oh, a bit of vitamin D going on there, lads. I know it's overexposed now because the sun has come out, but it's going to go back in a second because there's clouds everywhere. We'll cut back to normal lighting in a second. Here it comes. Disappear behind the cloud already. See what I tell you. Anyway, so the cruise control is now latched on to the car in front of me. The steering assist has stopped because it's lost track of the line running into the sun there, I think, and the lines are very vague along here. I just cannot emphasize enough just how good this car is, and not just for a Nissan. It's actually now my favorite electric car in the market, like numero uno. My top kind of few cars is Skoda Enyaq. You can finally get them. You can get it in a coupe version as well. I think it's very, very good. It's my favorite. I don't know whether I'd veer off into the Wild Blue Yonder, to the Nissan garage, or to the Skoda garage. I'd really have to debate myself on that. Kia EV6 is right up there, mixing it with the rest of them. And they're my kind of top 3 battery-powered vehicles at the moment. This swapping places with number 1, number 2, and that's...
The name was not recognized. Please say a POI category name. Or
software. Stop, cancel, whatever the word. Cancel. I said cancel, cancel.
Please say or select an item number from the displayed list.
Cancel.
Cancelling voice recognition.
Software. The problem is the software. She interrupts whenever you say the word of the car company, the name of the car company, she'll interrupt, right? So I'm not going to say it again. Or the name of the car. It's just going to start talking to me again. But it's very hard to shut her up, and it's not very informed. It doesn't really do proper searches around, but it's fine. It's fine as voice control goes. It's not great. Other problem is, of course, the temperature control, which is buried in this menu, heated seats, and temperatures up and down. You can do from a manual button down here at the bottom, but realistically, you're always going to have to kind of head back into this to get the information you're looking for, whether it's sync or, you know, any of that. It's all buried in this menu here. So the menu system's not great, and I think that will have to be solved in the software thing. But the rest of the car, I can't fault it. I can't complain. I really can't. I've actually fallen in love with this car. So I think it's time to pull over and have a chat about this Nissan. So, like I say, the Nissan is the best Nissan has ever made. There are some software issues that I think they will figure that out over time. And I think they'll be like Tesla, over-the-air update that'll cure all the things I was just talking about. It's fantastic to see the company who actually kind of started the mass production of electric cars or battery-powered vehicles has come good again after losing its way a bit with the Nissan Leaf. The ARIYA is here, and it has changed the entire system. I cannot recommend this ARIYA any more than I already have. I think it's the best car they've made. I actually think it's probably the best electric car in the market today. If you can get a hold of one, that's a whole different ballgame. It's not a race car. It's not 0 to 60 time. It's not trying to do performance modes or anything else like that. It's just an honestly good automobile, and it'll work fine for your family and your time. Listen, thanks for watching. Thank you for subscribing. I hope you've hit the subscribe button at this point. I hope to see you for the next video. Listen, look after yourselves, and until the next time, I'll see you on the far side of me driving this car more. Good luck, everybody.